Portland's mayor painted a picture of desperation in some parts of the city where renters are barely hanging on during the pandemic.
When we know that safe, stable housing is critical to maintaining the public's health, we're continuing to hear about rents going up, further challenging households that are already struggling to make their rent payments. 1 in 4 are severely cost burdened, meaning they're paying more than 50% of their monthly income on rent.
He shared graphics showing 1 in 4 renters are paying more than half their income for rent, and that in the black community, 74% rent, as opposed to the white community, where 43% rent. His solution, until the end of the year, force landlords to pay moving costs if someone leaves after any level of rent increase. Current law only requires that if the rent goes up 10% or more. He also wants the city to set aside $500,000 to help with housing challenges in East Portland. Kimberly Horner sees both sides of the problem.
One of our main goals is to make sure that the African American community in particular has clean, decent living standards in addition to affordable housing options.
She's the executive director of the Portland Community Reinvestment Initiative, which focuses on housing for African Americans in North and Northeast Portland. But the group also owns many of the buildings that provide that housing, and they've lost $361,000 from rent not being paid since April.
Our rent alone has been decreased greatly as a result of people in the Black community and low-income residents in our portfolio losing jobs or simply not being able to keep up with the rent because they've had a reduction in hours.
The federal government, state, and city have already started giving out $35 million in rent and mortgage assistance in Oregon. As part of that, the city of Portland is giving out $13 million using new contacts to get the money to people who really need it.
We're actually right now working with a group of culturally specific providers, new providers that the city and county has not had relationships with in the past to try to expand our reach into the BIPOC communities.
Governor Brown issued a moratorium against evictions for non-payment of rent until the end of the year, but that rent will still have to be paid. That's why Wheeler and so many others are trying to keep the money flowing now so that the bill doesn't get so high that it's hopeless. In Northeast Portland, Pat Doris, KGW News.